Hi everyone, welcome to Amaranth. These are general messages for the collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter placements. Let's get into it. So the first card you have, Gemini, is number 21, and it says completeness. So completeness is the major arcana. It's the world card in the traditional Rider-Waite. If you see this person over here, this person is reaching for the world. So I feel that there, and this figure, if you see, there is white hair, like silver hair. And, silver hair is symbolic of wisdom, the experiences, everything that we have learned on our journey so far. So I do feel that you have completed a cycle out here. You've come full cycle. This is something that you started. It could be a project that you started is fully complete now, integrated out into the world. It can also be some kind of personal development assignment or task that you took up, and now you feel that it's fully completed and, done, like certified. For some of you, this could be some kind of certification, upskilling, opening of a business. This could be also like you completing something major. It could be a degree at a university, college, a major job. It could be anything, It's like a big, big, big undertaking. Could be in terms of academics, could be in terms of job, could be in terms of upskilling or personality development, could be a phase of life, could be a chapter of life. You could be moving cities and you're like, okay, one big chapter is completed. You could be moving between companies after a long time and you're like, the last company that you were with for a long time feels like a chapter in itself. So there is something that you have completed, something major, something significant, something that has taught you a lot. This could in general be one chapter of your life, one era of your life, one chapter of your life, where you have learned a lot. You've come a long way. And now you have integrated all the lessons, right? Everything that you have learned along the way has now been integrated. And it's a confirmation from the universe that you have integrated all the lessons that you encountered, that you learned, Because the world, if it's, if the lessons have been forgotten or they have not been integrated, the world card would not show up, or it would show up in the reverse. But it showing up in the upright itself is a confirmation from the universe that you actually have arrived someplace after a long journey. It could be a version of yourself that took so long to build, or it could be, like I said, in terms of projects, it could be anything. And especially now with the sun in your sign, you're receiving this. It means that you're ready for a new chapter now, Gemini. So this is a great energy to have because you have created something. You have arrived at a certain place, certain milestone in your life, which is worth celebrating. And that's exactly what needs to happen before you are the third house archetype, which is the air suit. And Gemini energy is all about hopping from one task to another, So the world card is actually telling you to take a moment to recognize how far you have come, See everything, savor in everything that you have created. How much you have learned along the way. And what you have become is a completely different version of you that was a few months back or a few years back. So you have transformed, you have changed. There's a lot of fire here at the foot of this person. A fire at the foot is something that has already been conquered, that has completed. And I feel that now, because you have come a full circle, the rewards are almost there, or you can already see the rewards. It's like once we complete a project and we deliver it, then we get the money, the bonus, whatever, or the royalties. If it's in regards to book or something creative, the money, the material success and rewards or recognition even is out here on its way. It's almost there for you. So I do feel that take a moment because, this card, specifically the world card, it actually is not just like, not just a spiritual confirmation from the universe, but it's also connected with our psyche, how our brain processes the completion, the journey. And its scientifically, actually, from what I have known, is that it takes a few hours, it takes maybe a day or two for the brain to fully register everything that we have accomplished. It takes time for the brain to actually register. You have to keep reminding it over and over again that, yeah, I've been there, I've did this is a lesson, I've integrated it, and all of that. The brain needs to register. You just can't say, oh, complete, and then move on, because the brain hasn't fully registered as yet. And this world card is your biggest sign that you need to allow your brain to register how far you have come and everything that you have integrated, so that you're able to carry it forward with you. All the experiences, all the lessons, everything that you have experienced until now needs to be taken into the next chapter. And that only happens when your brain has fully processed everything that it needs to take with it. Now, if this is not your energy, Gemini, this could be the environment around you where you are celebrating milestones. It could be of the company, it could be of if you're part of the government organization or city or law enforcement of some sort, you might be celebrating some kind of milestone. Like how far it has come. It's been so many years and the company has been established, and so much has happened since its inception, and the company has come a long way, adapting to market conditions, adapting the products and teams and every other rule that gets passed, integrating all of that, and then you might be celebrating that as well. Maybe you're celebrating that at home, in your personal life, or it could be in your professional life. No, some of you could be actually retiring, you could be preparing for retirement, and you could be taking stock of what you have achieved until now, all the awards, the rewards, and also your finances, because once we retire, we have to take stock of our portfolios, how much assets we have accrued, and how we're going to put it to the next chapter. How are we going to make it work for us? This is just taking, reviewing everything. It's like, maybe you've forgotten about some investments. Maybe you've forgotten about certain things. And now the world card is telling you to take a stock of everything that you have completed and enjoy that, and pat yourself on the back, be proud of how far you have come, so that you can go forward in the next chapter and establish more stronger foundations for the next chapter of your life. Like, for example, if you're retiring, then what it is that you want to set up your next, how many ever 30, 40 years of your life, what are you going to do with it? Like, are you going to open a business? Are you going to learn something or something like that? So, or buying a house, maybe you retire and you want to buy a house, you want to settle down in a certain city, and you buy a house, you're like, this is my retirement home, and this is where I'm going to live for the next how many ever years of my life. For some of you, it could be that as well. But definitely, this is a time where you recognize your, the amount of effort you have put in. And now from here on, you know that there is nothing that you want to prove to yourself or to the world. So you can just be who you are and just happy with how much you have done so far. It's like you've been there, done that, have had all the experiences, had all the, maybe it's travel, you wanted to travel across the world or travel to some places, and you're like, I've done everything possible. All my bucket lists have been checked. And I feel whole and complete, like my life is fulfilled. For some of you, this could be in relations as well. It could be that, if you were married, maybe you're celebrating some milestones and you're like, okay, we've come so far. Let's see what the next, next decade looks like. So it's that kind of a major, some kind of a milestone. It could be your kids, something celebration in your family, could be your professional celebrations or your side gig celebrations or milestone achievements. So this could be, anything that makes you feel whole and complete. Like, I've done the best I could in my life. I've achieved this. Now I'm going to set stage for the next chapter of my life. I'm going to establish something really solid for the next chapter of my life. So, and especially for you, Gemini, you're the mutable sign. So, like you've been represented by the duality, right? One twin here, one twin there. But here, when it comes to the world, it's like both the twins are present here. It's not scattered being. It's like being in the moment. Both the twins are here in the moment and just soaking it fully. And participating in everything that happens going forward, not in two different directions, not with scattered energies. The next card you have, Gemini, is the deer and oat, and further says healing. So yeah, this deer, it's a beautiful deer, calm, still, it's not in motion. And there are oat wines all over this. Now, healing, I feel that, and this is card number 15. So the card number 15 in the tarot is actually the devil energy. Devil is a draining energy, right? It's restrictive, it's draining. It could be excessive, obsessive, anything devil. The devil domain has a lot of negative experiences, negative connotations. Difficult experience, something that's draining in general. And I feel this healing is pertaining to that. So you got the world card, which is a completion. And I feel that in some way, shape, or form has drained your energy, Gemini. I feel that you might be tired, doing a lot of things. And, as far as you have come, it takes a lot of effort, energy, dedication to have the world card show up. So I do feel that this is a time where you need to rest, you need to pause, you need to take care of your body, you need to sleep well, you need to eat well. For some of you, oat is the recommended medicine for you, like, oatmeals or anything, made from oats. There's so many delicacies available today that are made from oats. So, and oats is coming through as a healer, yeah, and it's also as a stress reducer. Oat is known also as a stress reducer. So you need that. Your body needs that nourishment to heal, the sleep to heal. And before you start your next major chapter, right? So this is all about, having like a good practice. Yeah, healing at the soul level, healing at the body level, at the mind level, at the spiritual level. Because it takes a lot to overcome challenges, especially with the devil energy. It's a draining energy. So I feel that you need to take some time to rest, to pause, to sip some herbal teas, to take care of your body. If there is anything that you need to get fixed, whether it's, whether it's your dental appointments, whether it's your eye appointments, that you have been putting off because you've been actively at work. So this is the time where you want to take a pause and you want to just go, attend to any bodily problems, any physical problems. Now, if this is a mental burnout, then sip some herbal teas, just take a vacation, go by the, you can go forest bathing, you can go in the forest, you can walk around. There's a lot of, people that go for retreats or they go for mountain national forests, and that actually is their healing. It's very therapeutic, especially when there are mountains and the waterfalls, and just, you book a cabin and you do nothing but just relax in the hot tubs. Those moments are really therapeutic. So I do feel that, even though, even healing at a spiritual level, right? We've been hurt, when we've been pushed and pulled in different directions. We've been through it. Some of us have been through, the dark nights and difficult 9 of Swords energy, 10 of Swords, and all of that. That comes as a package when we head towards the world card. So we go through all these energies, and the drina, sometimes, we can't even tell that we need this kind of rest, but when we get it, we can tell the difference, like how much burnout was there. For some people, this is detoxification. This is using those patches for detoxification, or some teas to detoxify, eating well, vegetables in your diet, or any other healing herbs you could be taking to that, that will nourish your body. For some of you, since you are the air sign and air, it's that air is the communicative and an archetype of processing data and all of that. For some of you, you could be actually processing the things that were not so pleasant, and you could be communicating it. And once we start communicating and we go back and forth, that itself is a healing process. When we talk to people, when we share things that we haven't shared, when we say things we should have, then that itself is a part of therapy and healing. So some of you could be into that energy as well. But for some of you, this can also be some kind of spiritual practices that you're taking to. There's a lot of spiritual practices available today, and having it as a daily ritual also kind of regulates our body and our nerves, our nervous system. Calming that down is also something that you could be taking too. For some of you, this could be just doing things that you really like. Some of you could be painting it out, and that could be a stress buster, or some of you just playing puzzles, or some of you just walking outside or swimming or going to the beach or cooking or reading. Whatever is your thing that just grounds you, centers you, is something that you need to do. An activity that actually grounds you, whether it's hiking, going to the mountains, biking, whatever floats your boat. Now, some of you could be working in organizations that are incorporating these healthy routines into the day-to-day lives, like, at a city level or at a country level. There's a lot of countries and companies that are actually taking to healthy employees, healthy communities. So there's a lot of nourishment programs, a lot of, especially after the global pandemic of loneliness and of mental health awareness. Healing is something that actually, kind of centers us, that makes us connected to people, that helps us share our wounds and heal that, through support groups. So some of you could be part of support groups or incorporating some connection programs in companies in order to, have the employees feel supported and, have a balanced lifestyle. So for some of you, you could be part of those initiatives as well. And otherwise, in your day-to-day, this could just be eating right, things that make you feel good rather than bloated. This could be sleeping right. This could be dressing right. This could be dressing with earthy tones. There's a lot of golden brown and earthy tones. So for some of you, you could be taking to earthy tones, whether it's in your wardrobe, in your bags, or in your shoes, or in your homes. You could be buying earthy stuff, or having some earthy sheets and natural and neutral tones around your house. Or you could be into gardening, or, something related to nature. You could be out there at safaris or spotting animals, feeding animals, looking after them, or looking after the forest, or having some kind of work in association with forest and maintaining forests. For some of you, this could be in the housing industry, where you're actually you're creating communities for people to come together, some retreats, some yoga practices together, or some kind of a community-wide, it could be leading some initiatives for bringing communities together, so that, when you come together and eat and drink and just listen to music and dance and just have a good time, that is no less than therapy. So that also adds to healing. Now, for some of you, you could be counselors that are actually working in the healing field, where people come up to you, share their problems, and you kind of figure solutions out together. So for some of you, this can also be about addressing things, whether it's at home, whether it's at work, looking at situations closely that were not so pleasant, some dynamics, some relationships that really needed to be addressed, fixed, talked about, so that healing can begin. And healing is not a one-day thing. It takes time. And for the heaviness to leave the body, it takes even more time. Like, after the healing has been done, everything's spoken, return to normalcy, or you've eaten right, you're sleeping well, you'll still feel a kind of heaviness in your body until 15, 20 days later on, when that exhaustion or heaviness leaves the body, is when you actually start to feel that you have healed. So you need to be patient around the feeling of lightness through healing. Now, some of you could be doing some charity or supporting some groups, or you could be contributing to the healing of communities in some way, whether it's through volunteering, whether it's, bringing people together, making the right connections, or some kind of crafts, something like flowers are very healing, or essential oils, or some kind of incense ritual, some kind of gemstone ritual that are very healing modalities, even yoga or things like that. So some of you could be working on that, or some of you could be leading initiatives in regards to that. For some, this could be environmental healing as well. And the last card for today, Gemini, you have the energy of the guitar or message from Cosmos, and it says, live life as if everything is rigged in your favor. Have confidence, keep the faith, you are supported. Absolutely, and that's what we have been talking about, It's like completing things, the world card, completing some kind of chapter, and stepping into your new version, with the whole journey that you have been. It adds to your strength, it adds to your confidence. And over here, the guitar, the stars and all that, it's like creativity, song, creating music or singing, just living in the moment, living it up without any kind of fear, as if everything is working in your favor. So when we constantly feed ourselves these positive thoughts, we start to believe in them that yes, we are being supported. Even though there are challenges, but then these challenges are just here to help us grow, to learn, to build some aspect, whether it's strength, faith, resilience, self-worth, whatever that is. These challenges have come so that we leave our old narratives and old ideologies behind, and we develop into something which is more progressive, more confident, So living in confidence versus living with a doubt mindset, second-guessing yourself, or with a scarcity mindset is not something that anybody wants to do. So I do feel that, and especially look at the neon signs, the beautiful colors, it's like really high vibe over here. So it's very, it's an uplifting energy, and the universe is constantly reminding you that you need to keep yourself happy in the energy of happiness. Keep yourself moving forward, enjoy every experience, stay motivated, keep inspiring people. Also keep learning, whether it's learning music or learning how to sing, creating music, or any other kind of creativity that makes you feel, that makes you feel de-stressed. That's a stress buster to you. That makes you feel confident and empowered in your abilities. That makes you feel strong and confident that you can handle any situation that comes your way. Having that strength to know that you can pull in the resources to navigate any situation. So that's the kind of energy the universe really wants you to be in, Gemini. So great messages over here, Geminis. Hope you enjoyed your messages. Now moving on to the sign of Libra. So the first card you have, Libra, is the One of Pentacles. And further down it says here, jackpot. It's a very interesting card because One of Pentacles is mostly like the Ace of Pentacles. I mean, very few decks have it named as the One of Pentacles. Now, if you look at the picture, there is this person, a young person, and he's wearing this blazer. I believe it's called a jacket or jacket lapel, right? So there is this one pentacle which is highlighted on his jacket. And the other coins are, of course, raining down. So definitely it's the image of a jackpot. It's a victory. More than that, I'm drawn to the person, more than the abundance. Of course, it's a card of abundance. But there's one difference out here. Whereas, in the other decks, the Ace of Pentacles is an energy of probabilities, possibilities. But here, the One of Pentacles is already raining pentacles, already raining coins. So I feel that this is an energy of manifestation, which is a little bit different from the regular Ace of Pentacles. And we'll break it down in a second. But first, I'm always drawn to this youthful presence of this person out here who's just, this person has, the face facing upwards, receiving abundance, enjoying that the coins are raining down on him. So, yeah, and also if you see that this person is not really holding the hands up, so he's not really reaching for the coins. He's just looking up, looking forward, a beautiful smile. And of course, in a very joyful state. Because this person knows, he knows that the coins are raining down on him and it's real. It's not a dream. It's his pet. It's for him. This jackpot is for him. So that's what really draws me towards this, that the person is ready to receive it, wholeheartedly, with an open heart. And I feel that for you, Libra, this is an energy where you're receiving openly because you know that you're worthy of every single bit of this. So this One of Pentacles is actually, it's that moment in time where the energy of the Ace of Pentacles, which is the potential wealth, potential pentacles. But One of Pentacles here, it's actually manifesting as the wealth out here on this earthly plane. So the abundance has already manifested. It's that moment when we, feel that for example, if we dig to a project or a business, and when an Ace of Pentacles shows up, it's like we get that hope that, things might work, things might manifest. Jackpot, generally, this energy of reading Pentacles is a little bit of a 10 of Pentacles for me. But here, it's shown as a 1 of Pentacles. And for you, Libra, your ruling planet is Venus. And Venus currently is in the sign of Cancer. And it's also, conjunct with Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of expansion, growth, and blessings, and good fortune. So I feel that this alignment of Venus in Jupiter is actually this energy of the jackpot. It being in Cancer, I feel that this abundance is related to things that really matter to you. That you're really going to welcome it with your open heart. Because Cancer is a sign of depth, water, emotions, deeply felt. The abundance is deeply felt, or the opportunities were deeply felt, which is manifesting this jackpot for you. So I do feel that these are opportunities, and it could be any kind of opportunity. And it's coming here. I feel it's already there. You've already recognized it. If not, it's coming here with really, it's coming to you, and it's a genuine opportunity. And I also feel that, this is something that probably you did not plan for or you did not expect, because this person is pleasantly surprised if you see the expression. So you're receiving something more than what you really expected. Now, with the 1, of course, these are new beginnings, whether it's new jobs, new paychecks, new compensation, you got a raise. Or this could be that if you're starting up a business, this could be resources aligning for you. It's new beginnings, which will yield a lot of wealth. For some of you, these are career changes that you're making, into higher positions. Or this can also be your portfolios, your financial investments of the past, that are now starting to show material abundance, because it's not that you're going to start. For some of you, you could have started in the past, but maybe you did not see the results, or you did not see the the paychecks come in, or the earnings to come in as much as you had expected. But here it is, sometimes we start, like, for example, I've heard that about startups, they kind of get the venture capitals and, but until they start to become profitable, it takes a while. It takes about a few years, like 5 to 6 years, for things to get up and running, for a startup to become profitable. And once it does, then you hit the jackpot. So for some of you, this could be like something like a startup where you've invested in some venture or a portfolio or financial investment. Could be property, even that has risen in value, and now you have this equity. So when you sell it, it gives you all this money. So I do feel that, and one thing is that, Libra. With Libra, the life is the scales, right? There is, like, you're checking in for balances. But I feel that over here, this person, if you look at the picture, he doesn't really surprised you. It's not like a very planned scenario. He's just looking up. He's just happy. He didn't expect that this would be the returns. And I feel that it's just the energy, it's just the energy that he's soaking in. Like, I'm so happy that it happened, or I need it. And even if you see the law of attraction and law of abundance and how to attract and all of that, once you tune into that energy of abundance, that's when you start to attract it. For some of you at a spiritual level, this could be that energy of abundance that you have been manifesting. Maybe you were tuning into it, you were meditating on it, or something like that for some of you. But this is, whatever this is tangible things, that are manifesting. And I feel that now I'm also picking up for some of you, Libra, that's going to be for some of you, that I feel that you've been working at it. Like, this, I'm getting an energy. The underlying current of this, what I'm picking up, is like being at the right place at the right time with the right people, Like, for some of you, you've been working at it. You've been working hard to manifest this. Like, you've been, for example, if you are a vendor, you've been reaching out to people, to buy your product. You've been making those connections, to secure deals or something like that. It's like there's hard work behind this. Now, for those of you that have not started receiving the returns as yet, or if this could be like you are planning something that you see potential in, that you want to work in, then I would say that the energy is very much favorable for you to go for it, rather than think things through or second guess yourself or ask the 100 questions that Libra generally would ask, because you're all about balancing things and asking the questions and what ifs and buts, and kind of checking out the permutation combinations. But I feel that this energy is asking you to be more spontaneous. So if you see any opportunities, don't hold back. Don't sleep on it for way too long. Don't keep analyzing the pros and cons and risks and gains and consult with 100 people, or kind of wait for the right time, because I feel that this opportunity is going to come in really fast. The window is really small. So if you do run across some opportunities, any kind of opportunities, financial or project-wise, or kind of working with another person, if you think it's a good idea, then just go for it. Because when you put in the effort, when you do it with positive intentions of actually manifesting things, and I feel that you're ready for it. You're ready to apply yourself. For some of you, you could have upskilled, or you could have learned something, or you kind of are starting out a business, or first, that could be for some of you. Now, others of you, this could be something that you had started or invested in a few years back, and now it's paying off, dividends, returns, investments into some kind of companies or infrastructures and things like that. So, especially in, a lot of portfolios and stocks and shares and trading and all of that, when you put the right bets, then it eventually pays off. For some companies, it does pay off. So maybe you did your due diligence and you invested in some companies, and now you're part of their growth story. So for some of you, you could have benefited from that as well. Like, store reps, and they get those shares and stocks as being part of the company. So when the company goes public, then, everybody really gets good returns. So whatever this is for you, whether it's, and also if you're, if you are at work, it doesn't have to be all about business. If you are actually at work, then it's time for you to either, take it next level, get to the next level, get promoted. Some of you could be, if not, this could be a raise in salary. If you're not getting a raise in salary, then you go ask for it, because the energy of this card is like, I totally deserve it. You just have to go for it. The jackpot's there. It's just waiting for you to reach to it. So for those of you that have been wondering if this is the right time to ask for a raise, and it surely is. Now for others of you, this could be, collaborations, signing up deals, or some kind of offers. And for a very small portion of you, this can actually be inheritances, like you're getting it. Either you're getting some monetary gift or some kind of inheritances. It could be from your family, or it could be that, you're selling out your stocks and shares that you've held for a long time, and now you are getting a lot of money back because you held that stock for a long time. Sometimes it happens that, we're able to spot opportunities that other people are unable to see it, and this is an energy of a reward for that. When some people have that eye for looking at opportunities and buying distressed homes, and you invest in it, and other people are not interested. So when you recognize those opportunities, after a few years, the universe rewards you back for thinking differently, for keeping an eye out. For some of you, it could be that as well. Now, some of you are actually being advised that if you're already receiving this material abundance, don't go spend it immediately. I don't know why that's coming, but it's a message that if you really hit this jackpot, and if you actually get something tangible, wealth, or whatever is raiding on you, then make sure that you first save it up for a bit before you dole it out, or before you invest into something else. Because it just shifts the intention and the energy around circulating your wealth. Because if the money is running, you will never know how much abundance you have collected or gathered, right? Because if the wealth is just, when you receive it and you forward it and you circulate it with in the next moment, you will never know how abundant you are. Whereas if you hold this amount and kind of take a look at it, take a stock of it, and then release it, and then invest it somewhere else in a few hours or in a few days, you're in the true place of wealth and abundance, which makes a huge difference, energetically and spiritually. So this is just a gentle, subtle message on the side. So it's a good energy here, Libra. And I'm also picking up an energy of a Libra that, sometimes Libras kind of, they set a cap on how much material wealth that they want to really get. Yeah, it's like you're always balancing skills. You're always kind of looking at what is right and what is the appropriate amount of money I should be collecting and all of that. And I feel that with this One of Pentacles, there is somehow an energy of growth and expansion, like I said, because Venus is conjunct with Jupiter. So for some of you, you might be interested in earning more and spending more and enjoying the finer things, which you probably did not give yourself permission to do so earlier. So nothing wrong with it, nothing wrong with getting a good pay or a bit, what do you call the bonuses, or if your investments being up, nothing with that, nothing wrong with stretching your financial goals, So I feel that this is also an invitation for you to Libra. If you have set like a lower limit, I'm happy with this and I don't want anything more than this, and whatever comes, I'm just going to give it up. I feel that this energy is allowing you, it's giving you that permission to dream big, to earn big, to increase that ceiling that you have set for yourself in terms of materialistic goals. Especially for those that are spiritual, I feel sometimes spiritual people kind of getting to that back and forth, like how much money is enough and all of that. But I feel that there is a Libra behind that is, kind of giving themselves permission to dream big, earn big. The next card you have, Libra, is the cat and lavender. And further says independence. Yeah, and look at this beautiful cat here sitting in absolute a majestic position. And very, it's like, I would say it's like, directly staring at you. It's not shying away, it's not hiding away. This is like, just eye to eye. So I feel that here, Libra, of course, cats are about independence. But at the same time, it's the independence where, it's the independence of being who you are and expressing it in that way. In the sense that you don't want, independence. There can be several types of independence. One independence is that, you like to be by yourself. Second independence is that you like to be with a group of people, but you independently, you are who you are, and you don't need to defend yourself. Your choices, nothing, you are you. You're a unique person just like everyone else's. So you don't need to have the same hobbies, the same interests, the same style of conversation. No, it's all uniquely yours. So I do feel that over here, you had received the One of Pentacles, which is abundance card. So I feel that, when this abundance arrives for you here, Libra, you need to receive it independently. It's going to be yours, and you don't need to, give reasons, explanations, because you have, because you know that you are worth it. You're worth that jackpot. And I feel that the meaning of independence is not staying aloof or being by yourself or feeling lonely. It's about knowing who you are and knowing that you have the capabilities to make the right decisions based on the data and the facts that is available to you, rather than conforming to anybody else's opinions or decisions. So I do feel that, for you, Libra, you might have to make some choices, and I feel that, you're calm about it. You are making your choices, and you are not sorry about it, and you're not even explaining it to other people, like, why have you made certain choices? And I also feel that, with this independence card, it's all about, it's you, you're not in any approval-seeking energy. And I feel that you being independent is not about being arrogant, It's like about, you know who you are, you know your choices, you know your decisions, you're capable of making them, you're capable of accomplishing them. So, and also you don't need any external people, any external validation to validate your choices or validate your decisions. No, you're good by yourself. And I feel for you, Libra, you're designed that you like to balance out the relationships. You don't want to burn bridges, The 7th house energy, your archetype is a healing energy. It's ruled by Venus. So, you're constantly leaning to whether if this person likes it or not, or kind of getting people on the same page or their approval in some way. But here this energy is telling you to be yourself. It's like you don't have to overextend yourself just because you want to express that you love. You want to express your love by burning out or overextending yourself. That's not what this energy is about. Now, if you're not overextending yourself, it doesn't mean that you love any less. And that's what the people around you need to understand about you. This energy is all about genuine one-to-one connections, because you're being truly you. So, also your emotions are your word. That's it's personal to you. So I feel that you feel what you feel, you say what you say, you do what you do, rather than what is expected out of you. Sorry about that noise. So yeah, Libra, the one thing I want to tell you about the downside of this energy, especially for you Librans. Libra's always about balancing scales. You're like the peacemaker. You want to, you want to look after everybody who's around you. You want to, have a neutral ground towards everybody. And sometimes Librans, that's what I have heard in talking to Librans, that they feel that if they they feel that being themselves authentically or genuinely means that they will need to, they feel that they will be left alone, and they have some kind of a misconception. Not all Librans, of course, it depends on your other placements as well, but somehow they feel that they cannot be themselves when they are with other people. Now, I feel that that's not true though, for especially for the archetype of Libra, because now being yourself doesn't mean that you have to be rude, because everybody has their own set of boundaries and limitations. So yeah, so just by being yourself doesn't mean that you have to over compromise or under compromise, So that's the one thing that I feel that Libra archetype needs to kind of figure something out along the way. But independence does not mean that you have to be alone in terms of this energy. So when you speak of independence, it doesn't mean you have to be alone. You have to do everything alone. But the thing is that, especially when people are not used to a certain kind of energy from someone they already know, and suddenly when you step into these independent energies, make independent choices or have independent suggestions, which is different from your team or your family or your neighborhood, then somehow you feel a pushback. So the thing is not about fighting it out at that moment. It's like you just have to give an opinion. You give your choice. You say your choice, and then just let it be for a bit. Let people kind of sleep on those suggestions or whatever you're seeing. Let people sleep on it. Let people try something which is not working, and then come back to your suggestion saying that, yeah, you were right about it. So those are the kind of independent opinions that Librans need to step into. Now, for those of you that feel anxious doing it, here's your medicine at the same time. Lavender is out here coupled with the cat energy. And that's the reason why they couple lavender, because lavender is a stress buster. It's a stress reliever. It has a lot of, elements that, or compounds that reduce the stress level, that reduce the hormones or something like that cause stress. So that's why it has been coupled with this, because the underlying current is that those Librans that want to step into being independent thought process and independent and all of that, it could stress you out. So supplement that with herbal lavender teas or essential oils, something that has lavender compounds and elements in it. That'll help you calm down, and so you can ease into this energy. Now, if this is not about your own personal aspect of independence, maybe you are already independent, maybe you have your own thing, but I feel that this energy also is encouraging you to, start something on the side on your own, whether it's a side gig or an entrepreneur, a gig or whatever that is. But I feel that the energy right now is supporting something that you would do and carry by yourself. Whether, anything, it just has to be an independent vision that's carried, directed by you. You can take on more help when needed, but there is an energy out here that should you invest into something of your own, like independent vision that you have for yourself, or could be a creative vision, could be a monetary financial vision, that will also play out well for you. Now, some of you might also be investing into homes and spaces for, a single person, like maybe that's you that's investing into small spaces, small homes, less square footage, because you feel you will be comfortable in those cozier homes, and they're easy to maintain. So just for a fraction of you, that might be something that you might be considering. Now, for some of you, if this is not your energy, you could be in the environment that's encouraging independence, or people are independent there, or they're I don't know, you are breaking away for branching out in some way. Maybe it could be that your teams are separating out so that they have independent units. It could go in any way, but for some of you, this could be, independent units, reorganization at work. Also, this could be an environment where people are doing things on their own terms, like, because they want to do it. Like, I want to go here, so I want to go, not because everybody wants me to go. Or I want to, take to this hobby, or I want to do this because it's my choice. You might hear something a little bit more in the next few days because of this energy play out in your environment as well. So this is, in general, a very good energy for you, Libra, because sometimes we get into that approval kind of a, energy, external approval validation. So I feel this energy is a little bit breaking away from that. So and that could be in any way, right? Like when we don't care about what people are thinking or doing. I mean, not while doing the wrong things, of course, when we feel that a business is right for us, but then people have counter opinions. And then when we choose what our heart and mind says, which uniquely fits our personality and our understanding of the situation, and we try to make those informed decisions, even though nobody understands. That's what this energy is encouraging of your Libra. And the last card for today, Libra, you have is a message from Cosmos, and it says, set your life on fire and seek those who fan your flames. Kindred spirits, passion, follow your heart. Exactly, just the right summary that you needed. It's a good wrap to your reading here, Libra, because this is the energy of, just doing what actually you're passionate about. There's a chili outside. It's a flaming chili, which means that you need to have that fire lit inside of you, to do something bold, even courageous. It might take inner strength to pull it off, but then, Libra, you already know how to balance the scales. You know how to get it done. You're ruled by Venus. You're very, mindful person who knows exactly how much fire is good, that will not burn. So you know exactly how much fire is needed to propel forward. But more than that, the message over here is for you to not dim your light, especially just, just for other people's comfort or approval. So don't play low, don't play small. And then get the support system that will actually help you understand you, help you grow. People who got your back. So you just need to connect with those, stay connected with those, who understand where you're going with your vision, who have faith in you and your vision, rather than, come up with snarky comments that put out the fire. We don't need that. So I would say this energy is encouraging you, Libra, to follow your heart, to follow your passion, and just be, just express yourself like very genuinely. What do you want? Live your life and build that life and be passionate about it. But at the same time, make sure that you're living in with purpose. Okay, and also make sure that you have the support, because the Libra energy thrives when you're surrounded by people that are supportive, your tribe. So to create that thriving, supportive environment, definitely loop in your people, your inner circle, and the ones that you feel will be supportive at all times. Okay, so breathe energy here, Libra. Those were your messages, and hope you enjoyed them. Now moving on to the sign of Aquarius. So the first card you have, Aquarius, for today is the Queen of Wands. Wands is a fire suit, and it further says charismatic, but it's in the reverse for you. Aquarius, you are 11th house archetype, and Wands is the fire suit, which is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius energy. So let's take a look at this. In the reverse for you, there is this person, dressed in, like, the medieval times, with very royally dressed, I would say, very royally dressed. and very charismatic, of course. But in the reverse, I feel that this is like a pause, a momentary pause. Um, I feel like the pause could be a break that you're taking here, Aquarius. If you look at the picture, it's raining, the streets are wet, and you can see the reflection that is above on the streets in the water, right? That's what happens when it rains. So I feel that there's a lot of reflection here too for you. So it's not since it's a wand energy, so there is a lot of fiery spirit, right? It's like the Queen of Wands in the upright is going forward, charging forward with your ideas. Here, there is a little different energy. It's a reversal of that fire. The fire is still available. It's not gone anywhere. But it's just that you are now reflecting at the same time as to where you want to go next. So, it takes a lot to be the Queen of Wands because, you're highly charged, very charismatic. You're the leader. You're the one who, you're the life of the party and all of that. And sometimes, when the Queen of Wands is always in that highly productive output energy, it burns out, it burns the person out. So it exhausts the Queen of Wands. And if you see scientifically also, it is said like, if you're working that hard, like, you need periodic breaks to recover, for your body to recover, right? So like for every, 1 or 2 months that you work intensely hard, you need to take a few days of a break to rest your mind, to calm your mind and body. So I feel that is what exactly that you are doing right now. You don't want to be like, loud, and you don't want to be like, the one who's talking the most, or you don't want to be the one who's presenting the most, or you don't want to be the one who's talking the most. I feel that you want to just spend some quiet time. You want to understand, you want to reflect, you want to contemplate, you want to see like where do you want to invest your time and energy into. Maybe you have a lot going on and that's exhausting you out. So you need to fill your own, reserves. And I feel this is a direction, this is a step in that direction, because, I do feel that you are kind of going within. You're trying to understand your direction. You're also, for some of you, you might be just, looking after yourself. You're not ready for that outward, outward momentum. Maybe you're not ready for it. Maybe you want to just relax. Or you want to just, reassess, reanalyze, like where do you want to invest your time and energy into? Because this is like not in, the Queen of Wands is like the cusp of Aries and Pisces. I feel this is like, and I've noticed this with the Queen of Wands going up and then reverse and then upright and the reverse. It's like a graph, right? That goes up and down and up and down. Too much fire burns out, then the water comes and puts out that excessive fire, and then the fire comes back up again. So this might be the time where the water kind of your emotions has put off this fire for a little bit before the spark comes back again, full force. So some of you could be planning for the next stage, for the next phase of your life, like where do you want to go from here? For some of you, you don't want to be the one who's, constantly talking and entertaining or cracking the jokes or the life of the party. You just want to take a backseat for a bit, So for some of you, you might be preferring a little bit of a quiet time or less engagements, less commitments, less parties, so that you conserve your time and energy. For some of you, this might be something that you are learning. You're taking the time to sit back, learn, research up something, study about something. For some of you, it could be that as well. Maybe you're journaling, maybe you're writing, maybe you're working on some skill, some craft, or some project by yourself. So you might, you might be like really away from the social scene, or maybe even social media, or you're staying away from it. I feel you're just tired of, being the brilliant person, or being almost everywhere, the leader, leading, seeing the right things, coming up with ideas, putting in the work. It's the kind of, what do you call? Some of you might be in theaters, performing arts, and, you're constantly looking for new ideas and entertainment ideas, or, shine bright ideas. And that really might be exhausting for you. And you're like, even though 11th house energy is a very intellectual archetype, it is. The Aquarian energy is futuristic forward thinking. But sometimes, you might have a lot of fire placements in your chart, and it's of course going to be different for each one of you. But I feel that when you just refocus on yourself, take a moment, take a break, and then after that big break, you come back, you feel more lighter, more calmer. So, sorry about the noise. So, so I feel that this is more about taking a backseat, a step back, and you're like, you know what, maybe you're in higher positions and you constantly have to be in high energy mode, and it is tiring. And you're like, you know what, this job, if I say in this job, I got to constantly perform, I got to outperform other people, I got to think of ideas, run here and there, be the shining star, see the right things, give those right speeches, and I'm exhausted of that. I just want to be who I truly am. For some of you, this could be that you're kind of, putting in extra energy to be the Queen of Wands, and that was exhausting you, and now you want to get back to who you truly are. Maybe you prefer not that much activity, and you're like, you know what, I'm tired of this performative thing, and I just want to stay back. I want to do things. I want to treat my job where less of, less of presentation and talking and entertaining. You just want to be there. You want to be by yourself. For some of you, this could be a complete drastic shift. You want to be from an extrovert position to an introvert job position, or you just want to start a business from your home where, you're all by yourself doing your thing. That could be for some of you. But this is a good pause because it tells you exactly what you want to do with your life going forward. You've seen a lot of people, especially when athletes and all of those people retire, and they take a step back, for a few months to a year or 2 years, it depends, in semi-different breach. So they just figure out what they want to do in future. What are their, athletes don't, either they turn into coaches, or they have some coaching issues, or they open up some businesses, or they take some contracts for brands and all of that, brand ambassadors. So they just have to figure it out, So it's that stepping back moment where you're trying to figure out, like, what is my next step? What am I going next? So there could be that analysis which is going on. For some of you, this could be that you don't want to speak too much. You're like, you do have information which you're like, you know what? Why should I be the brilliant one all the time? Let other people talk and I'm going to listen. So for some of you, you might be wanting to hear other people's perspective. You want to hear other people speak, and you just sit back in a corner, sit here, wine in a glass, and just listen to other people, what they have to say. So for some of you, this could be a shift in that as well. So this is quite a thing with you, especially with the Queen of Wands. It's pretty noticeable, and I feel that people around you might also be seeing a subtle shift in you, or maybe a significant shift, especially in this moment of, reduced activity, or a kind of taking a moment to yourself, little bit of a withdrawal over here. So for some of you, there might be, maybe they're kind of observing the change, and some of them might even, talk to you about it. The next card you have, Aquarius, is the sheep and Gladberry, and further down it says devotion. Now, if you see here, this beautiful white sheep, heavy wool, and it's standing on 2 feet. So it's, sheep generally don't do this. It's not their normal pose. So this sheep is definitely, it's reaching towards this beautiful flower. And then behind there are, behind and below there are a lot of blackberries out here, which is the sweet fruit, which is a sweet fruit. And behind the background is, of course, it's dark because they wanted to elaborate on, the beauty of the sheep and the flowers and the purity, the whiteness of the flowers and the sheep. Now, in general, sheep are, they're very innocent, and they're actually, in some parts of the world, they're also used as, sacred animals, of devotion, of sacredness. And I feel that we're here too. Of course, below it says devotion, so I feel the same sentiment out here in the card, in the energy. I feel that for you, Aquarius, you're the 11th house archetype, which is, the water bearer, community, connections, networking, inventions, and learning, higher, not exactly learning, but I would say innovations. You're ruled by Saturn, so hard work, discipline, all of that comes under the Aquarius archetype. So I feel that here this sheep is reaching towards this beautiful flower. This is the jasmine, jasmine that it's reaching towards. So I feel the sheep, the sheep would only stand on its 2 feet when it really wants something, it stretches itself, it goes outside its comfort zone. This is not its comfortable position. It goes outside its comfort zone when only something that it feels it needs to stretch itself for. So I do feel the same energy for you. There is something that you really, really want, and I feel you are working hard towards something. You are, I feel that you might be standing up for something. This is like a stand-up position. So you might be standing up for something that is important to you. And if you can see in the picture, there's a lot of thorns. This blackberry has a lot of thorns. So those thorns are not really stopping this sheep from getting to the flowers and being surrounded by blackberries. So that's what the devotion is. Like, thorns are our challenges, our difficult situation. But the sheep is, it knows how to work around it. And I feel that same for you. When you're taking up something, when you are committed to something wholeheartedly, you don't care what kind of challenges are coming, at you. And you're ready to overcome that. And I feel that you are consistent towards your efforts, your energy towards whatever is dear to you. But the caveat here right now is, the sun is in Gemini. And the energy of Gemini, even though it's your sister air sign, but it's a mutable air sign. So the energy of Gemini archetype is a little bit scattered, it's duality. It's scattered in different directions. So your challenge right now, Aquarius, is to not scatter your energy into 100 different things, because your brilliant mind might be, spinning wheels, and you might be spinning so many plates. You might be interested in so many things. But here, the sheep, this posture, is telling you that you don't need to scatter your energies into so many things. You need to pick one, and then give it your all. And that's when you will start to see the results, because here, the blackberry flower, all these are, fruits which are visible to us. They were not this big when the flowers start, we all know they're buds, and the fruits are not this big and visible. They start as small, there's rawness. But here, the fruits and flowers are in full bloom, which means the results are visible. So either the results are already starting to show for you, Aquarius, or you need to stay devoted for the results to show for you. So you need to be, all in the sense that, of course, you are always, intellectually all in. But because you're an air sign and, this is asking you that you need to invest your, you need to feel for it equally strongly for you to put the effort into it. Because if you're not feeling for something, then it's hard to put the consistent effort. So pick the thing that, that really you feel it from within you, from the core of you, that you need to create something or care for something or put in the effort into something. And that's when you will start to see the results. Otherwise, half-hearted energy and half-hearted devotion is not going to cut it for you. The quality of your devotion, the quality of your commitment will actually determine the final quality and of the outcome of the results. Because due to the planetary arrangements, alignments at this point in time, especially for you, Aquarius, you might be always, be drawn towards newer projects, newer ideas, new directions, new people, new innovations. But here, again, the energy of the sheep and the blackberry is that not every project, every idea needs your time or deserves, I would say, your time and energy at this point in time. So choose wisely where you want to invest into. And also, this is a long-standing fruit. Blackberries and flowers don't just pop in a day. It takes a while. Sometimes it takes several years for this kind of growth to happen, So it takes a while, a few months, sometimes a few years. So you need to wait it out. Sometimes for a lot of us, when we don't see instant results in this day and age of instant gratification, it's hard for us to stay committed to anything that takes time. We constantly want to move to something else, shift our focus to something else without giving it the time. So this energy is asking you to stick it out for some time. Don't hop from one thing to another, because this kind of harvest takes a while. And I also feel that this is something that you will need to put your energy and time and consistency into. On a daily basis. So you cannot just do it like once in 6 months or once in 3 months and expect the same kind of results. So this has to be like a fully focused, just kind of locking into this and go for it. So multitasking is something which is not really going to benefit you, especially if you want to see the results. And each of you will know it's going to be different for each one of you, what exactly you're working on based on your placements. But that's the whole idea, that we cannot be devoted to 100 things and multitasking while we are working on this thing and expect to see the results. This is like full focus is needed over here. Now, if this is not your energy, Aquarius, this might be the energy around you, because in the last few years, in the current times, a lot of corporates and companies and research organizations are also focused on getting into the depth of things versus scattering the energy over 100 research subjects. So, and I've also seen that a lot of people prefer to choose, like even if you see the athletes, they will just pick one sport and they will go at it day in, day out till the end of their until their retirement, until they can actually be a part of the sports arena, the world just focus on one sport. It's hard to find one athlete participating in 100 sports or 2 or 3 sports, because it doesn't introduce that kind of the output if you're scattered. Similarly for fashion houses, if you see the fashion houses, the designers are fully devoted to one thing that they work on, and then they go specialize in it. Even for the doctors, medical field also, the surgeons, they cannot be, for example, one eye surgeon cannot be a heart surgeon at the same time. So it's just that you need to be focused into one subject or space or idea. So some of you might be actually musicians. You might be devoted to one instrument. And I've heard this, one of the people I know who was playing an instrument for years and years before her breakthrough came in, before she was asked to play for a major house. So, and, if you talk to the people that have been, sticking it out and, locked in on one sport or one area, one instrument, one anything subject, they will be just happy to do it all over again. They wouldn't, they don't regret that they stuck it out for so long or it took them so long to get their breakthroughs. They're really happy. And even if you see financially, that makes sense, because now when you are that extraordinary performer, you are the one who's sought after, I mean, versus if you are a jack of all trades, you won't get the kind of compensation for your subject or for your domain until you are the expert. So experts always draw in more compensation and perks versus anybody who is a jack of all trades. We already know that, for those of you that are in the industry, even if you see chefs and cooks, they just, the crafts and everything. So all of that need time and devotion. And I've also seen the resurgence of retro items. Sorry about that noise. So yeah, I was talking about retro, crafts that are coming back, that are making a comeback, like weaving and fiber arts and all of those, that the field have lost their reach in the current world. I feel that, a lot of things related to our cultural heritage are all coming back. For some of you, you could be devoted to bringing those back to the current communities. Now, for some of you, you could be working on legacy systems or legacy properties and things like that. You could be devoted to that. Like, I've, heard from a lot of people that they like to go back to their, their family ancestral homes and kind of redo it. Either they will kind of, repaint it, but they'll leave those stuccos and they'll leave the, the artsy, the architecture, like, Victorian homes and all of those, those crafty, the doors and all of that. They want to leave it. They want to preserve that. So for some of you, you could be into that as well. Now, this can also be devotion to a spiritual practice that maybe you had started, but now you want to go back to it. It could be any kind of spiritual practice, or maybe you want to, pick up something about your diet. Maybe you had started a certain kind of diet and now you want to go back to it. So it could play out in different ways, and it's going to be different for each one of you. And this is a great energy to be in, Aquarius. While we feel that it's good to have our, fingers in a different kind of pies at the same time, I feel that when we kind of cut out the noise and focus on a few things or one or two things that really, pique our interest or we feel strongly called to, then, we feel calmer. Even if physically, emotionally, mentally, we don't feel that anxious that we got to straight thin in so many different directions. So it keeps our body calm, it keeps our mind calm. And for some of you, if you're working around those anxieties, I feel that if you reduce the number of tasks that you take up, I feel that anxiety itself will start to go away. And this is something that's very visible, to the external world, to the people around you. If it's in the corporate or office, people will see, how you have been loyal to the work or how you have been committed to growth and progress in the company. It opens up gateways to next level, projects and achievements. Now, if it's in your personal life, also people are able to see your devotion. They will be able to see, the shift in your energy from being scattered and all over the place, having too many things to do, to keeping it, restricting your energy to just a few things. So it's going to be evident. And, sometimes it really, I would say, sometimes it really benefits us, and it also opens new doors for us when people are able to see that we can stay devoted and committed to something. It opens up so many other doors for us that we cannot even fathom otherwise. So I do feel, Aquarius, that you're heading towards excellence and refinement in something. You're going to be devoted, and I feel that it's going to give you brilliant results. And the last card for today, Aquarius, you have is a message from Cosmos, and it says, forget safety, live where you fear to live. Take a chance, dare to dream, risk pays off. Exactly. So this is a similar energy that we have been talking about. It's like stepping outside of our comfort zones. It takes courage, even to be devoted to a certain area, certain project, certain subject, certain idea. It takes courage to go after it, especially when the results are not visible as yet. The courage to follow your heart, the courage to, trust yourself, your capabilities, that you will get the results someday. You will see the results that you are expecting or waiting for. Now, there is this beautiful castle out here. It's a very glowing neon kind of a castle. Castles are always symbolic of dreams and achievements and ambitions and all of that. So there is definitely something that you want really strongly, but of course, sometimes it's fearful because maybe it's something that you have never tried before, or you might be just afraid of the societal constraints or your family constraints, or how is it going to turn out, and there's so many fears that take us. And if you're able to break free from that, if you're able to you trust yourself and take calculated risk. This energy is not about being reckless. It's when it says here, forget safety. It's not asking you to be reckless or be impulsive. It's just telling you that, safety in the sense that when we step out of our comfort zones, we are fearful. And we don't want to feel that fear. So we stay in our comfort zones. So I feel fear here is somehow, a part of the equation or part of the dynamic out here. Maybe it's controlling you in some way. And that's something that you need to recognize, that you need to be bold. You need to stand up. That sheep was standing up. You need to stand up for yourself, your choices. Be bold to make bold choices also. Be bold to trust yourself in your capabilities. Have hope that if you're being drawn towards something, there is something in it for you. So, and nothing it will be possible to achieve, to grow, if you just stay where you are. Growth, any kind of growth, it makes us uncomfortable. We are creatures of comfort. So we need to shake ourselves and learn to navigate the unknown and the unseen. So that's what I feel this energy is, and look at this neon. Neon energy is more about, something like it's passion. Put that energy into, it's glowing, it's intense. It's like neon signs. When we see it, kind of draws our attention towards it, and that's exactly what I feel like. Something's really pulling you towards it. So this is like a perfect summary to your reading here, Aquarius. I feel that you need to be a little bit more bold, a little bit more daring in your pursuits, in your ideas, in your choices, in the way you convey to them, and have the courage to pursue it. And just make sure that whatever you are pursuing, it has actually meaningful and purposeful. You're not chasing the wrong things. That's what this energy is saying. So, understanding that your goals are meaningful, are purposeful, and being driven towards those things, that is the one that's going to give you the real satisfaction, the real results, the fulfillment that you're looking for. And that'll only happen once you break away from those chains that are holding you back, whether it's your mental fear, or whether it's the society fear, your family fear, or if it's the fear of failing, or it's the fear of challenges, whatever that fear is for you, you need to break free from that. So, great energy here, Aquarius. Those are your messages, and hope you enjoyed them. So, thank you guys for joining. Please subscribe and hit the like if you enjoyed the content, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye for now.